What if I told you that those odd coincidences, déjà vu moments, or even certain dreams weren't just random events? What if they were deliberate signals from a version of you living in an alternate reality? Yes, it sounds almost unbelievable, but think about it. Throughout your life, there have been strange encounters and unexplained phenomena that leave you wondering. Those moments might not be as innocent as they seem. In fact, your parallel self might be trying to break through the barriers of space and time to communicate something important. Whether it's repeating numbers like 1111 or finding yourself in situations that feel too familiar, these occurrences could be more than mere coincidence. The key to unlocking these mysteries lies in understanding the multiverse, the idea that infinite versions of you are living out endless possibilities in alternate dimensions. And once you start noticing the signs, you'll see how thin the walls between these worlds truly are. There's a hidden reality waiting for you to explore it. And the best part, the messages might already be coming through, curious yet good. Because what you're about to discover will change the way you see your life, your choices, and your connection to the quantum universe. Let's dive in. Have you ever had a moment of déjà vu when something feels eerily familiar? Like you've lived that experience before? These moments, often dismissed as tricks of the mind, could be something far more mysterious. According to some theories, they may be signs of communication from a parallel universe. It's as if your alternate self is reaching out through the fabric of reality, nudging you to notice the subtle hints. Pay attention to these seemingly random coincidences. They might be more than mere chance. Imagine this. You have a vivid dream where you're living a completely different life. Maybe you're a musician instead of an office worker, or living in a country you've never even visited. When you wake up, that dream lingers. What if that dream isn't just imagination? Some believe it's a glimpse into the life of your parallel self in an alternate dimension, a version of you that took a different path. The signs are subtle, but they're there if you're open to them. When you start noticing strange encounters or unexplained phenomena, like crossing paths with someone who seems oddly familiar, even though you've never met, it could be a sign. These moments of synchronicity may suggest that your parallel self is trying to get your attention, reminding you that your reality is just one thread in a vast, interconnected multiverse. Keep your mind open, and you may start to see these signs more often, as if the universe itself is trying to tell you something. Imagine every decision you've ever made branching off into countless alternate realities, each one creating a new version of you. This is at the heart of the multiverse theory, which proposes that for every choice, a parallel universe exists where you chose differently. In one reality, maybe you took that job offer, in another you didn't. The possibilities are infinite. It's fascinating to think that all these versions of you are living their lives simultaneously, shaping completely different paths in alternate dimensions. Think about it. What if there's a parallel universe where you're living the life you always dreamed of? Maybe you became a successful artist, or maybe you're living in a peaceful countryside instead of the busy city. These alternate realities are like windows into what could have been, reminding us that life's potential is endless. Every version of you exists somewhere, living a story that's just as real as this one. The multiverse theory isn't just science fiction. It's a way of expanding how we view our choices and the lives we lead. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some physicists believe that it's not just alternate versions of you that exist, but completely different laws of physics, different universes where even time itself doesn't behave as we know it. In these universes, strange phenomena might happen. And who knows, maybe you've already brushed up against one of these realities without even realizing it. The multiverse theory gives us a glimpse of a reality far more vast and complex than we could ever imagine. Quantum mechanics may sound complex, but at its core, it explains how particles at the smallest scales of existence interact in strange, seemingly magical ways. One of the most fascinating ideas is quantum entanglement, Where two particles, even light years apart, are connected, what happens to one instantly affects the other. Regardless of distance, this concept has led some to speculate that different realities, even parallel universes, might be linked in a similar way. Imagine that your actions in this universe could influence your parallel self in another. The choices you make, however small, might ripple across the quantum fabric of reality, altering the course of another version of you. Maybe when you feel a sudden pull towards an unfamiliar direction, it's because your parallel self has already explored that path. This interconnectedness suggests that the boundaries between alternate dimensions are far thinner than we think. It's as if the quantum universe is quietly weaving together different threads of existence. In a practical sense, this means that what happens in one reality could potentially affect another in ways we don't fully understand yet. Think about those moments when something in your life shifts suddenly or unexplainably. It could be the result of entanglement between you and your parallel self. The quantum world challenges everything we know about reality, opening the door to infinite possibilities. Keep an open mind, because the answers might be hiding in plain sight. Have you ever looked at the clock and noticed the time is 11:11, or seen the number 303 everywhere you go? These repeating numbers are more than just coincidence. They could be messages from your parallel self, subtle nudges from another dimension trying to get your attention. In many spiritual traditions, these numbers, often called angel numbers, are believed to carry specific meanings, like guidance or a signal that you're on the right path. Next time you see these numbers, don't just shrug them off. Take a moment to reflect on what's happening in your life. Are you facing a tough decision, or perhaps embarking on a new chapter? Some believe these numbers are signs from a parallel universe, a way for your alternate self to communicate important messages. It could be a simple reminder to trust your intuition, or a sign that you're being supported by forces beyond this reality. It might sound a bit mystical, but even science can't fully explain why we notice these patterns. Maybe there's a quantum link between you and another version of yourself that's drawing your attention to these numbers. Whether you view them as signs from a higher dimension or just curious synchronicities, it's clear that repeating numbers hold a unique power. Keep an eye out. You might be receiving more messages than you realize. Have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid, so real, that it felt like you were living a different life? Some people believe that these dreams are more than just figments of the imagination. They're glimpses into the lives of your parallel selves. When you dream of a completely different reality, it could be a moment where the boundary between dimensions thins, allowing you to experience what another version of you is living. In many ways, dreams might be the closest thing we have to a portal to alternate dimensions. Imagine dreaming of a life where you're a famous painter. Or maybe you've achieved a goal you've always longed for, but never pursued in this reality. What if those aren't just random fantasies, but actual reflections of what your parallel self is experiencing in an alternate dimension? This idea gives dreams a whole new meaning. They're not just a space for your subconscious to wander, but perhaps a way to connect with the multiverse. It's like getting a sneak peek into the different paths your life could have taken. If you start keeping a dream journal, you may notice recurring themes or lives that feel strikingly real. These could be your parallel selves reaching out to you. Paying attention to these dreams, rather than dismissing them as fiction, might help you understand the choices you've made in this reality and how they differ from the lives being lived in parallel dimensions. Perhaps, in some small way, you can learn from these other versions of yourself and apply that wisdom to your waking life. Have you ever noticed something strange, like an object moving without explanation or a sudden shift in your surroundings that leaves you questioning reality? These moments, often called reality glitches, might be more than just tricks of perception. Some believe they are signs of brief interactions between parallel dimensions, moments when the fabric of reality thins and the lives of your parallel selves momentarily overlap with yours. It's as if different versions of you converge for a fleeting moment, leaving behind a trace of their existence. Imagine you place your keys on the kitchen counter, only to find them later in the living room, without any memory of moving them. Or perhaps you meet someone who seems oddly familiar, even though you're certain you've never met. These glitches in reality could be small signs of parallel universes brushing up against our own. They might not always be obvious, but they often make you pause, making you question the solidity of the world around you. Next time you encounter one of these unexplained phenomena, don't just dismiss it as forgetfulness or coincidence. Instead, consider the possibility that you've experienced a brief moment of convergence with another version of yourself. These events remind us that reality isn't always as stable as it seems. There are layers we might not fully understand yet. Stay curious, because the multiverse has a way of revealing itself when you least expect it. Now that you've learned about the signs, how will you recognize when your parallel self is trying to reach out? Will you start paying closer attention to those unexplained phenomena, the repeating numbers, or the dreams that feel more real than imagination? The knowledge you've gained opens up a world of possibilities, an alternate dimension, a quantum universe that's directly connected to your life. But this knowledge is only useful if you act on it. What will you do with this new awareness? Will you brush off these encounters as random, or will you explore them further, trusting that there's more to reality than meets the eye? Start by reflecting on those moments that make you pause, the strange encounters, the reality glitches. Ask yourself, what are they trying to tell me? What can I learn from my parallel self? And how can I use that to improve my life in this reality? If you want to keep uncovering the mysteries of the multiverse, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. There's so much more to learn. And each new discovery could bring you closer to understanding not just your life, but the infinite lives you could be living right now. Let's continue this journey together.